Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a ranking of all of my Chanel highlighters, which I'm actually impressed with how many highlighters I own, considering I am not typically a highlighter girl, but I have quite a few. Anyway, before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So full disclosure, there is not one single highlighter here that is like the worst, the pits, like terrible. I'm going to start off from, I guess, my least favorite, least used to the top favorites. And I have powder, liquid, and also stick. Those are the textures. Let's go ahead and get started. The first one here is sort of like a flashback, a blast from the past. This is the Infiniment Chanel, the Illuminating powder that came out, I think, close to a decade ago. Remember this? So this is described as an illuminating powder. So technically it's sort of like a face powder slash highlighter. And what I love about this is that, yes, it is a blast from the past. And also the interlocking CC here goes all the way down. It's not an overspray. It isn't something that erases with use. You can see it all the way down. I'll give you a swatch here, but honestly on me, it was more like a very soft matte highlight, because oftentimes when we think of a highlighter, we think of like a glowing disco ball, but to highlight literally just means to bring lightness. So you can in fact highlight with a more matte powder. And that is what we're doing here with this powder here. It's very soft. The texture was nice. I don't even remember what release this was for, what collection it was. It was just a beautiful compact from Chanel from a very long time ago. Next up is a highlighter that is super intense. This is the Duo de Camélias. This is an illuminating powder duo, and this I believe was an online exclusive, maybe a boutique exclusive. It wasn't available everywhere. It was exclusive. And this one here is super intense. So you have a duo here. You have one side that's more gold and one that's more silver. And some people have restraint and just swipe one and then swipe the other. I, on the other hand, like to do a big swirl in both and sort of get the best of both worlds. I'll do an individual swipe on each side and then I will mix them together. So this is what the duo looks like. This is silver, this is gold, and then this is it swirled together. As you can see, the swirled together looks so pretty. It is so pretty. This Duo de Camélias was such a beauty. I still use it, but it's just so intense. It's a really intense highlighter. It's not subtle at all. I barely touched all of these, and this is how, like, bam, in your face it is. It is not subtle. It is not like a little lit from within glow. It is, hey, I'm wearing highlighter today. I hope you notice, but it is very pretty. The texture is wonderful too. Very buttery, very soft, very pretty. If you go in really, really lightly and then knock off a lot, you would get less shimmer, but as you can tell, like this is what it is. It's pretty intense and I love it. Interesting enough, the compact here, the CC, is silver. So I'm not sure how they chose to have the interlocking CC be silver, because sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's white. Oops. White is the more classic color here, but I'm just interested how they chose silver because it's silver and gold here. Anyway, just a mild observation here. Next up is a powder that a friend of mine gave to me, and there's nothing wrong with this. I just don't really use it. This is the Eclat du Désert. This was, I think, a spring release from a few years ago. I think this was maybe one of Lucia Pica's first collections with Chanel, or not a first collection, but one of the collections with her here. So this is Eclat du Désert. So like something about the desert, something about light in the desert, a burst in the desert. And I think it was when the palette Warm Memories came out. And mine looks incredibly schmutzy because I dig into my product, but I also find that this highlighter here, the texture is really soft. Like, it's just incredibly soft. I can almost like put my finger through all the way through the bottom of the product. It's very, very fragile. It's not very robust in texture, and I'm always worried that the product is going to just like fall apart whenever I swatch it. And this is the color here. It's very rosy, it's very pink. I like a pinky highlighter, but I think I'm more into a rose gold. I like a warmer moment in my highlighter, and so that's why I don't really use it. I like the color, but I don't love it, and I also don't love the texture. So maybe this one is the one that I like the least, actually. Moving forward, these highlighters, I like all of them pretty equally. It just depends on my mood. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with a Baume Essentiel. This is the shade Or. I believe this came out with a holiday release because it's gold. Or means gold here. And when these Baume Essentiel highlighting sticks first came out, I was not interested. I couldn't figure out how to use them. I thought they were weird, but I actually quite like them. And a lot of them have just a faint amount of color. So this is a gold finish, or gold color, I should say, but it's very subtle. When you apply them, you can see a little bit of tint, but it doesn't interfere or change the blush or anything like that. So I really like this. And how I like to use these is I like to layer them underneath my foundation. So I do my eyes first, and then I go in with this, and I basically apply the Baume Essentiel highlighting stick anywhere where I would apply highlighter normally. I would go here, maybe a little bit of the brow bone, in the center of the face. That's how I use it. I don't like to use it on top of my foundation. I just find that it moves a little bit. So for me, it's a layer under foundation or BB cream, whatever. It gives you that most natural, lit from within, very healthy looking glow. So that's how I like to use it. I have 3 shades here. I have this one here, Ensoleillé, which is like, oh, it's gorgeous. This came out, I think this year or last year, for the spring summer release that came out in early January. But I love it because it has a little bit of a peachy hue to it. Not enough that it's going to interfere with your blush, like I said before, but if you want to just lean into a beautiful peachy beach vibe, this is absolutely stunning. And you can see that these are very, very wet. When you apply them directly on the skin, they do look wet, but they do dry down. Someone has asked me before in the comments, how do I get them to dry down? Well, I put them underneath my foundation. So I'm sure if I put them on top, it would look and feel wet all day, but I just place them underneath. I didn't apply these stick ones today. I'll show you what I'm wearing in a moment. And then last but not least in the Baume Essentiel is one of the newer ones here, and this is Lila or Lilac, and this came out with the Le Blanc collection this year. At first I was a little bit terrified by this purple hue because I don't have purple hue in my natural skin tone, but again, this was just very subtle. I find it more subtle in color than the Eclat du Désert, but it almost has a holographic purple shift, and it really just looks very subtle, very pretty. And I think this lilac one might be my favorite of the Baume Essentiel sticks that I have, just because it's so different. I don't have any highlighters with that slight purple to them, and it may sound so crazy to want a purple highlighter, but it's so subtle, it's very soft. And for spring, it was just really pretty. It paired so nicely with soft pinky blushes, just very, very pretty. Moving on to my jumbo highlighter part of this segment here. So this one here is the Eclat Lunaire. This is the Oversized Illuminating Face Powder in Or Rose, so rose gold. I believe this was this year's holiday release, and there were 2 to choose from. I think this was the lighter one. As you can see, it looks like we took number 5 to the moon and then stamped it onto the moon. And this is the beautiful logo here. I haven't dug all the way down, so I can't quite tell if this is going to continue all the way down or if it's just an imprint here. But this one here, I remember it being, pretty pigmented. So let me just give you a swatch here. So here is rose gold. This definitely looks like the deepest one so far. It looks like it has rose gold and almost bronze to it compared to the other ones here. It's very pretty. It's very finely milled as well. You can see when I'm just blending it very, very seamlessly. It sort of just melts into the skin. It's a nice buttery, it's a powder, but it feels buttery and it feels very seamless and very creamy at the same time. Following that, it's another oversized highlighter, and this is from the Beiges last summer. This was the Oversized Healthy Glow highlighting powder in Soft Peach. Now, there was so much confusion about this product here because we got it here in Canada, but in the US, correct me if I'm wrong, but you never received this. There was so much confusion because some people were just confused about the fact that there were oversized highlighters and oversized bronzers last summer. And this was the lighter highlighter option here. And you can tell that I've really enjoyed this and loved this a lot because I've just really dug into it, and the packaging here looks a bit destroyed. So inside here, every little square actually looks like a compact of the Beiges. And what I love is that this here, the finish is so spectacular. It's so different. It actually has more of a soft matte finish. So here you can see this soft peach color here. It definitely doesn't look illuminating or sparkly like these top ones here. It looks more matte. It almost reminds me of the first one here that we mentioned. And this soft peach is so pretty. I love this one so much. I used it so much last summer. You know when you get something new and you're sort of just obsessed with it? That was this here. And I just love the change of pace of having a matte highlighter. Again, you can use a matte highlighter, a matte cream to highlight just to bring lightness and brightness in. And I'm really shocked that it wasn't available in the US because since it's a soft velvety matte, it's incredibly forgiving. If you have issues with texture, with crow's feet, fine lines, and you find that highlighter sort of just like falls in, a soft matte like this just brings lightness in a very natural way, but it's great. And it was also great as a brightening powder because it has a bit of peach, so you can use it under the eyes here to illuminate, you know, because peach helps cut any sort of blueness you might have in the under eyes, which I do because I'm a human being. So yeah, this one here, and you can just really tell how much I love it by how much I dig into it. And now that I've remembered this, I'm going to bring it to my top of the pile here. And moving on, we have two liquid highlighters here. So liquid highlighters are a little bit more work to use because everything that I've used, like the powder highlighters, you just take a brush, you swirl, and then you apply. With these sticks, I take a brush like this and apply, or I go like that and apply. It's very easy. A liquid highlighter, what I do is I put some on the back of my hand, I take a brush, and then I swirl, so it's a little bit more work, but not that much. This one here is the Leblanc Rosy Light Drops, and as the name says, it came out during a Leblanc collection, and so this looks like a milky pearlescent white liquid highlighter, and this is it here. It definitely hits in the pinky pearlescent family that we have here, a couple of them, and this one here is gorgeous. What I like to do is I like to use a little bit, like a third of a pump, and use it underneath my foundation. And again, it gives you that beautiful, very luminous lit from within glow. This is going to be more intense than anything else here. Liquid highlighter is always going to give you the most bang for your buck, but at the same time, it's the one that's going to melt with the skin the most at the same time. So this one here, I'm giving you a swatch, but you can blend it out to be more sheer. You can layer it under foundation, or you can in fact apply it over top and it's not going to move anything around. Now, next up is the highlighter that I'm wearing today. And this is the Beiges Healthy Glow Highlighting Fluid in the shade Sunkissed. So this is Sunkissed here. It looks exactly like the name would say. Let's just give a very stark comparison here. Now, if you have very, very fair skin, I think that the Leblanc highlighter would be amazing for you because it's much more fair, as you can see. So if you have very fair skin, you should try the Leblanc Rosy Light Drops. In the bottle, this looks like liquid gold, liquid bronzed goddess fluid, and that's exactly what it looks like here. This is a very generous swatch, and you can see a very big difference here with everything that we've swatched so far, and especially with the Rosy Light Drops, it really is night and day. So this is like a liquefied bronzed goddess JLo glow. So what I did today is I took much less of this, like a fraction of a pump. I took a brush, I swiped it around, and then I just tapped it here, around here, a little bit here, and then I took a little bit on underneath the brow bone here. And I love it. Obviously, it looks incredibly intense here, but I just find that the liquid highlighter really melts with the skin and looks very natural. Obviously, I'm wearing makeup, yes, but you can't see like a stripe of highlighter. It really just melts in and blends in with the blush and everything that I'm wearing today and the bronzer. It just creates a really beautiful look, a beautiful finish, and I think currently in the summer, this is my favorite highlighter. I just love it. Even though it's a bit more work, I find that the finish is just so worth it. It's so pretty, it's so gorgeous. So I think for the summer, this is my favorite highlighter. And moving on to, I think, my all-time favorite highlighter from Chanel, which has sadly, tragically been discontinued because this was a holiday release from a couple of years ago. This is the Eclat Magnétique de Chanel, the Illuminating Metal Peach. Remember this one? Initially, this had more detailing. It had more going on in the center, but I am a swirler. I like to swirl my brush, and it's been used and well loved. Metal Peach is a little bit rosy, a little bit gold. It's like a soft rose gold, and calling it Metal Peach, like a metallic peach finish, is very accurate. I wore the crap out of this when it came out. You can tell by how much I've dug into and swirled around in the palette here, but I love the finish. It's also soft at the same time, you know. You can blend this out and have it be more subtle and natural, and it's so pretty. I really, really love this one. I'm sad that it was discontinued, but honestly, I think that Chanel is coming out with a series of redos or do-overs for highlighters, so maybe Metal Peach will be in there. We'll see. Chanel is coming out with a whole series of highlighters. I'm talking about 15 highlighters. I believe it's 3 shades in 5 different embossings, but all of the embossings I think we've all seen before. So I'm really curious if Metal Peach will be in there again. I'm not sure. I haven't, seen them in person or anything like that. I've only seen online photos. But yeah, these are my Chanel highlighters, and I'm honestly shocked by how many that I have because I've said so many times that I'm not really a highlighter girl. The facts are against me in that claim, apparently, because this is a lot of highlighter for someone who claims to not be a highlighter girl. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Please tell me, what is your favorite highlighter from the brand? Have you spotted any favorites today? And let me know if your favorite highlighter was discontinued, because they do come out with a lot of like seasonal limited edition highlighters for different releases, and a lot of people love them. So let me know in the comment if that happened to you, if your favorite got discontinued. Anyway, I think that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and then I'll see you next time. Bye.